Hello and welcome back. This is just a quick follow-up to the video I made the other day when I was just giving a brief introduction to my little podcast setup. And I mentioned that I was thinking about using the fifth input on my switcher for the HDMI out from my MacBook Pro into the switcher and then back into the monitor itself. The idea being that I could send a feed from the computer screen and use it for on-screen presentations or whatever I had on the computer. However, that did not work. And what happened was when I tried that, I got no signal back into the monitor. And worse still, when I tried to put it back the way it was, the MacBook would no longer recognize the HDMI feed. It would work if I only had the one HDMI monitor connected to the MacBook. But if I had my other monitor, because I have two external monitors connected to the MacBook, the second monitor is going out via USB-C Thunderbolt port. It did not work. I could only have one monitor or the other. It's apparently, according to research, the USB-C overrides the HDMI, and the Mac really got its knickers in a twist when it didn't know what it was talking to. Because when I plugged the HDMI port into the switcher, it not being a monitor, there's no ID signal. It's apparently called EDID, and it is a sort of two-way handshake. And then this really screwed up the Mac, and I could not get it to go back. Deleting PRAM and lots of stuff in terminal to try and get the machine back to the way it was before would not work. And I could either have the HDMI monitor or the USB monitor, but not both. If I tried both at the same time, what would happen in display was they would overwrite each other. They would only see one monitor. I tried many workarounds, but in the end, I couldn't get it to work. The only way I could get it to work was to use a USB-C cable from a port on the Mac into the display port on the first monitor. So that, in other words, both monitors were then going via USB-C, and I had to drop the HDMI altogether. I only mention this as a warning to anybody else, because once the Mac gets its knickers in a twist over the HDMI EDID signal, there appears to be no way back that I could find. Perhaps a fresh install of the operating system and clearing all preferences may work, but that was more work that I wanted to do. As I said, I did some research and I tried all the tricks that was suggested to me in terminal to clear out preferences, etc., and it simply didn't work. Now, there is a hardware solution, which I've ordered a small part, which is to use an HDMI switcher, one that specifically does give the EDID handshake in both directions. And so the theory is that I can run the HDMI cable out of the Mac into the splitter, and then I could run it to the switcher and back into whatever device I wanted to do, a monitor, etc. Or I may be able to split it across a couple of, into the switcher and also into a monitor on the desk here, so that I could see what the computer is sending out. This, I am assured, will work. I don't know yet. The hardware's not arrived, and once it arrives, I will test it and I will let everybody know if it works or not. But the idea is that because this device gives the specific EDID signal in both directions, especially explicitly to the Macintosh, then when the Mac boots up, it should say, oh, I see the signal from the HDMI, even though I prioritize the USB-C monitor, and then it hopefully will work. Anyway, it's just a fair warning that you can really screw your system. I wasted a whole day trying to get back to where I was in the morning, simply by taking the HDMI feed, plugging it into the switcher, and then back into a monitor to see what it was displaying, and it didn't work. And worse still, the Mac would not then see two screens. Anyway, there it is. Just fair warning. I will let you know once I got the hardware whether it's working or not, because the idea is I'll have a screen here so I can see what the computer is outputting and switch to it as well. So for example, I have a mouse on the table here, and we're giving say a software demonstration on tips on how to do something, or a PowerPoint presentation, or whatever it is. I want to be able to see it on the screen, and that's the idea of what I'm trying to set up. There it is. I'll let you know. Bye.